What do you think you are, minimalist or maximalist?
Maximalist.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Text or call?
Text.
Too much sleep or too little sleep?
Too much sleep. Always. Always.
Driver or passenger?
Driver.
Spotify or Apple Music?
Apple Music.
Spotify Wrapped, over, under, or fairly rated?
Over under.
Okay. What's your favorite TV show?
Um, Friday Night Lights.
And what's your favorite character
On that
from
show?
that? Yes.
It's really a close, I think Tammy Taylor. Tammy, yeah.
What's your favorite song from your upcoming album?
Ooh. It changes all the time, but right now I'm into the title track, Halvesies.
Nice. You actually announced that album quite a few months ago, like you announced it pretty early, but now it's only a few weeks away. How do you feel about the release?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. This album took a really long time, and so I feel like I was waiting forever, and then all of a sudden things started to happen really fast. Um, and it's like you have this secret project that you just like it's only for you and your collaborators, and then suddenly everyone in the world could possibly hear it because it's going to be on the internet. So it's like a massive switch. I'm excited about it though.
And when did you start working on it? Like the first time you worked on it?
Um, some of the songs I started writing as early as 2016, but we started recording in 2019 and 2020.
Oh, so not that long after your last album.
Yes. I had a lot of stuff that was like in process. And I feel like with albums, sometimes you just kind of hit a cutoff point where you're like, I have new music that I could include, but I'm not going to just keep adding and adding. So there were a few songs that were already like in progress when my last album came out.
And like, where do you see the biggest differences between your last album and your new upcoming album?
Um, I think the way that I approached the storytelling is really different. Um, a few of these songs came about like during the early days of the pandemic when I had like crazy insomnia. So there's a lot of like dreamlike stuff that comes in to the album, um, almost like against my will. Like there are so many things that kind of just worked their way in that I wasn't conscious of. Um, and so it's like this very honest, dreamlike experience, I guess.
That's crazy. Because when I listened to the first like few singles that you already released, I was thinking like this is like I'm reading a book, but in a dream. Like it's less realistic, like less than my real life. Like sometimes you listen to songs and you feel like, oh, this is so realistic. Like I could imagine being in there. And yours felt like this, but more than I am the character in my own dream.
Oh, okay. That is the highest praise I can receive because yeah, if it were a book, I feel like I would want the album to be sort of like 100 Years of Solitude, like magical realist. Like there's history there, but there's also magic and terror and monsters and all kinds of like unreal things and dreams. Um, but I also sort of want you to feel like you are the character, like you are in a video game and you're kind of moving through this magical world looking through my eyes, but it's you. I want each person to experience it for themselves.
Yes, I read that you were talking about the album like it was a video game and like following the like character of like Miss Freedomland. So, and I was hearing that and it like sounded like so nice and welcoming, like you invited your like listeners to go on that journey. And like what kind of a character would Miss Freedomland be?
Okay, so Miss Freedomland is resourceful. She's open-minded and curious, but she's also very fierce, and um she doesn't take shit from people. And she's at the beginning of the album, she's just learning who she is, and she doesn't really know her backstory. Like imagine sort of like a Jason Bourne situation where you've already been through a number of battles, you've already had a ton of life experiences, but you're not totally aware of what those are. All you know is like what you're seeing at the moment. Um, and you're she's little by little trying to figure out the terrain that she's navigating, like what tools she has, who can she trust, and how to get to freedom. So like she knows that she's highly motivated to reach her goal, but she doesn't totally know how she's going to get there until, pretty much the very end.
Hey, so like it's a task in life, like her ultimate goal to reach the freedom. That's so nice. And for you, like, is Miss Freedomland like, is it a friend? Is it a stranger? How do you feel connected with that character?
So I think of her as like an abstracted version of like the little girl I was. Um, so like she doesn't have all of my personal experiences, but she has a lot of the same heart and a lot of the same limitations. So like the reason the video game metaphor really stuck with me is because they're like kind of like in the Matrix or in a video game, there are certain cheats that you can do. You can get around some rules, but you come to find out that there are other rules that are like completely fixed. And your character probably has some strengths and some qualities that are going to be revealed over time, but they're not all powerful. Like they're stronger than they appear on the surface, but they're not all powerful. And their job is to figure out like, what are my strengths that I can use to like make my way through this magical world. So it's like me, where like a lot is possible, and you have this sense that you can do almost anything, but you're also up against a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it actually does. And while you were talking about it, I was like so reminded of the new version of the Jumanji movie. Do
Oh my
you
gosh,
know
I haven't
that?
seen it. Jumanji scared
Like
the
not the
shit out of
new
me as a
new?
kid. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
have not watched it because I think weren't there a lot of like bugs and spiders in that? I was so scared of those as a kid.
No, I think the the old movie was a lot scarier, but the new
Okay.
is more it's more funny. Like it's not really scary, it's just funny with a few scares. But there is also like the characters get like put into this world and they're like, what the hell am I doing here? I don't know what's going on. And they get like tasks and also character traits. And they don't know what to do with it, but they have it.
Right.
So I was really reminded of that right now. That sounded so
Okay,
much like,
maybe I should see the new one.
yeah, it's actually funny.
Where are you located?
In Germany, in Berlin, right
Nice.
now. So it's
I've never been to
5
Berlin,
p.m.
but my dog's name is Berlin.
No way. That's so. Oh my god,
It's
that's
my
so
puppy's
funny.
name.
Maybe you should come here one day.
I know.
And
I need to go and like get him a bunch of souvenirs. He wouldn't know
oh
the difference, but
yes,
I would.
yeah, and I think that would be fine. Like maybe a little toy that also has Berlin on it. That would be so cool. Have you ever played a show in like Europe or Germany?
Um, I sang in Germany in when I was like 14. I was in a girls' choir and we went and we sang in where did we sing? We sang in Hamburg and Leipzig and Halle, um, like on the east in the East Germany. But I haven't been back since. I
Hmm.
played the UK last winter and I'm coming back next year when the album's out. But I haven't played in Germany as like a grown-up musician.
Maybe you should do that. I think there are very like a lot of locations you could go to. That would be pretty nice.
I'll need to get your recommendations.
Yes, I will send them to you. um, okay, I listened to all of your three singles already, and one of them is called Annie Oakley. And I was wondering, was it more inspired by like the motel or the person, like the sharp shooter?
So, like in a literal sense, I stayed in a motel called the Annie Oakley. And so that's the setting of the song. But I also liked the idea that Annie Oakley is an iconic American like fighter woman. And she's so familiar that like we can all, like a lot of us identify with figures like that. She's like a Paul Bunyan, you know, like American legends. I'm trying to remind people that like, you know, a contemporary traveling songwriter could become an American legend like Annie Oakley was.
Oh, that's very cool.
Like in
Yeah,
the same
yeah, I get
cinematic
that.
universe, like where she was a real person, but she's become larger than life in history because of her, you know, heroic deeds and great skills with a gun.
That's pretty cool for especially as like a girl or woman. Like
Yes.
that's
And
pretty
like I referenced Lucinda Williams in the song as well, who musically is that for me as well, like a larger than life songwriting hero. Um, the song is about like, what does it take practically to become one of the greats? You know, like great American writer, great American sharpshooter. Like we have these legends of people that like were ruggedly individualistic or whatever, and became myths on the American landscape. But what are those people actually like? And what does it take day to day to keep on your path, to keep on your journey towards greatness?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it. That's pretty interesting because I was like, I read the lyrics and I was like, okay, it's the motel, and then was like, but it could also be the person. So that's pretty cool.
That's how I like to
Um,
experience art. Like, I think that if you're referencing something that people are familiar with, you have to be ready for them to project a lot of their own imagination onto your story. And I welcome that. Like, I think it's really cool that even if I'm not telling a story about Annie Oakley, the historical figure, like her reputation and what she represents is going to become part of the narrative because of everything that people associate with her.
Pretty cool. You were also like when I think actually the day you're releasing the album, you're playing the first stop of your tour. What are you most excited for the tour, like for the live shows?
Okay, I am so excited for this tour. I'm really stoked to hit the road with my band. I have an amazing four-piece band, and we've been working for the past like year and a half to just get like a great dynamic among the four of us, and we are ready to rock. So that's exciting. Um, I'm excited for some of the openers, like Paisley Fields is opening for the album release show in New York, and he's an amazing country singer and friend of mine. So we've got some great people joining us. And I'm going to be like in my sort of adjacent to musical life, I am the president of the board of Abortion Care Tennessee, which is an abortion fund that helps Tennesseans get reproductive health care because it's now impossible to get, well, it's illegal to get an abortion here in Tennessee. So I'm going to be bringing merch and information, and my plan is to just like spread the good word everywhere and help like use the platform that I'm going to have as a touring musician to like educate people on reproductive justice on the road and like help connect people to resources all over the world.
So you're not only bringing your own music, but also like things that you think are really important, like
Yeah, that's the hope.
to the
Like especially
people.
when you're touring in the US, like it's pretty wild how in America I feel like we're so scattered. It's such a huge country, and there are such huge disparities as far as people's access to healthcare. So if I can, you know, go from state to state and bring resources and bring awareness and maybe even get some donations, like that'll be a good use of my time. Like if I have to be going state to state anyway, I might as well be bringing useful information.
That's pretty cool. Have you done that before on previous tours, or is that a new thing you want to try?
I've sort of dipped my toe in. I've done shows with Abortion Care Tennessee where we had volunteers educating people about abortion rights. I've done shows with Calling All Crows. They encourage voter turnout and they educate people on sexual assault and sexual violence and how to intervene and not be a bystander. So I've done one-off shows that to promote causes that I care about, but I think this is going to be the first time that I like night after night after night, I'm going to be repeating the message of abortion forever, no matter what.
That's pretty cool. I wish you all luck that works out well and you get that. That's because that's really important. And I think that's a really good idea. You just said that you were touring the UK last year and you've also played like quite a few shows in the US. Where were the biggest differences for you? Like, did it feel different from the whole feeling?
I found that audiences in the UK are very quiet and attentive. And usually in the US, audiences are a little bit more like rowdy, I guess. And so there's pros and cons to each. Like, I really like an attentive audience that's listening to the lyrics because like I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm not just there to be background music. But at the same time, I remember like when I first got to Glasgow, I was like, are people having a good time? Like, how's it going? Like, I had a hard time understanding if people were liking it. But then after the show, people came up to me and they were like, oh, we loved the music. Thank you so much. And I realized that people were just quietly listening. But at first I was like, uh-oh, am I holding anyone's attention here? So it's just like a cultural difference. Yeah.
But there's nothing you prefer out of those both?
No, I like it all. I really do. Because different songs get to shine in different environments. Like I have like rock songs that are really fun to play in like a standing room club where people are, moving their bodies and drinking, like, and it's like a little bit more of like a rowdy environment. And then there's other songs that I really want people to lean in and listen to the story. So I'm game for whatever the audience is ready for.
That's pretty cool. You also just said like you are a singer, songwriter, and so you also said before your voice is like your primary instrument, and your harp is the second, guitar is the third. If you would have to choose a fourth instrument, would you choose a completely new one or go back to the violin?
That's such a good question. Every few weeks, I'll be thinking about an arrangement and I'll be like, damn, it really would be useful if I still had some fiddle chops because that would fit really well. I think if I could add another instrument, I would want to play the piano. I'm really envious of people who play the piano well.
I get that. It's pretty cool if they play it good and like you can do so many different things in
Yeah, you can
vibes.
make a whole universe on the piano.
Maybe that's something you could do like next year, because do you have any New Year's resolutions?
New Year's resolutions? Okay, kind of. I have like birthday resolutions. My birthday's in October and I always set an intention at my birthday. So that I count that as my New Year's resolution. I'm trying to approach my brain with more curiosity. Like I think that a lot of us have this tendency to be self-critical and like if we don't work and think and create the exact same way as the next person, we assume like there's something wrong with me. And I fall into that trap a lot. And I've just decided like to accept that I have the mind that I have and like, let's explore and see how it works. So like a little bit of casual meditation, experimenting with different ways of writing, and just noticing how I'm taking in information. So like, just like brain exploration, magic school bus stuff. That's what I'm into this year.
That sounds actually like a pretty healthy New Year's resolution. Like a lot of people have like sports.
Right. Like I don't need to like, I don't know, save a certain amount of money or go on a diet. Like I just want to get curious and get to know myself better.
That's pretty cool. Are you already excited for something specific for 2024? Except from your tour, maybe.
Yeah, well, there's definitely specific tour stops that I'm really excited about. I'm really excited about the Ann Arbor Folk Fest this winter and going on the Cayamo cruise. I love to go to the Caribbean in February. There's nothing like it. Another thing that I'm looking forward to is like living by myself for the first time. I just moved to Nashville. And as you can see, there's nothing in my apartment, but just like setting up my own space. I'm a big fan of Virginia Woolf, and she talks about, having a room of one's own and how for a woman writer, it can be transformative to have space and resources and solitude. And so I'm kind of trying to lean into that this year.
Pretty cool. Have you something like where you like say, this is the thing I'm most proud of what I achieved this year in 2023, or something you're so happy that it turned out the way you would have expected it or maybe not expected it?
I think that the visuals on the album I've really leveled up. My creative partner, Cole Nielsen, took all the photos and did all the layout and design, and we were really intentional about the music videos. I have some incredible friends that are filmmakers, like Annalisa Lockhart and Mary Glenn Frederick and Cole. Like, we worked on these music videos, and it really felt like I was so connected to every aspect of the album, not just the music, but like the layout, the type, the photos, the music videos, the wardrobe, all of that. So I feel like it's so empowering to have a project where like every aspect is really telling your story.
And doing things like these, were they always your dream? Like, is that something like your teenage self wanted to do and was like, this is where I see myself?
Yeah, I actually, since I was moving, I came across my diary from when I was like 17, and my dreams were very, very earnest, but also really modest. Like, I was like, I just want to pay my dues, play some like play some gigs in bars and clubs, and like maybe work as a waitress. Like, that was my like big dream. And so there's like there's a self-sufficiency in that dream, and there's an honesty to it. I think I always really wanted to just be in the work. It's always been about like just wanting to have a life where I can make music and share it with other people, and like witness the important art and culture that's going on in my time. You know what I mean? To be of my own time and to just be like a fly on the wall for what's going on.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Do you think your teenage self or your younger self would be proud of what you already achieved and would be happy with that?
Oh my God. She would be so amazed. I don't think, like, my teenage self had some big dreams, but she also like didn't really believe in herself like I do now. I know myself a lot better. Um, and like I feel like I'm just getting more curious and energized as I get older. So yeah, I think she would be proud of me.